This
Me.
conference will now be recorded.
So we're going to talk about two of really my favorite rivers. But I wanted to start with telling you a little bit about the company first and who you would be traveling with. And if you first to river, maybe a little bit about river cruising versus ocean cruising, right? So we're considered the heart of the river. We only do the European sail along the European, and of course we do have some exotic programs as well on the European rivers. Also Colombia, Asia, Africa, and Egypt. So, all the storied rivers that Melinda was talking about, maybe Portugal, which we have a fantastic trip in mind for you, all the four corners of France, the beaches of Normandy, maybe Bordeaux. You want to go and taste all those beautiful Bordeaux wines, the Rhone and the Saône, which happens to be my favorite region in the world, but also the Provence area, maybe truffle hunting. Um, then we go into the tributaries of the Scheldt and the Maas rivers on the Rhine. We go from Amsterdam all the way on the Mosel to Basel. We'll highlight that particular cruise. And then the Danube, the upper Danube and the lower Danube, the blue Danube as it's called. And then we have Colombia, which is our brand new product. 60 passengers on board, very intimate. Barranquilla to Cartagena. Cartagena, of course, we're going to do a little bit of in Nueva Valencia, a little bit of Carnival, even outside of Carnival season. And then the Mekong in Asia, the Mekong River, which is a beautiful experience, Vietnam and Cambodia, San Reep to Ho Chi Minh, or back up, Ho Chi Minh back up to San Reep with some extensions. And we've got a great promotion right now with a 2-for-1 land extension. And also Africa. Maybe you didn't know we have an Africa product, which is a beautiful product. 28 passengers on the Chobe River, Chobe National Park, 4 nights on the Chobe River on a river safari. Then you can add a land safari, or maybe you've always wanted to gorilla trek in Rwanda. And then Egypt, the beautiful Nile River, a 12-day program including 3 nights pre in Cairo and all of the history. You actually sail with Egyptologists, those are your guides. So it's a beautiful history lesson all the way down to Aswan, back up to Cairo, and that 1 night post. So if any of this is on your bucket list, please call Travel Central. They're fantastic to work with and they know my product so well. So let's get into why AmaWaterways. So we're known for the luxury of space, and we're known for this middle category, twin balcony. Average square footage is about 221 square feet. We only put 156 passengers on board. So when Melinda says you need to book this early, you do need to book it early because remember, each sailing only has 156 lucky passengers. Our sailing season starts in early February and goes all the way through New Year's Eve with all types of themed cruises we'll get to in a little bit. But we're known for the luxury of space. We put less passengers on board than some of my competitors. So it's a wonderful experience for you. Remember, all the shore excursions are included, and we break you down into different groups. You may say, look, I need to take it easy. I've had a hip replacement, or I just need to take it easy on my ankles or something. We have a gentle walkers tour. Then we have an active pace. You can do hiking and biking. We carry bicycles on board. So all of these excursions are included, and there's a choice of between 4 and 5 choices in each destination. All of this complimentary. That is included in your cruise fare. Also, the cuisine. So you have beer and wine, and that's um, regional wines that we serve on board, never a house wine. So the cuisine is quite lovely. You get beer and wine included with meals. You get that mimosa in the morning if you'd like. And of course, the the food that we serve on board has a regional flair. If you are in Germany, we may have schnitzel, but we have many, many choices, and that menu changes. It's all a la carte. And of course, we even have a late risers breakfast. So all of the beautiful food that we serve on board is locally sourced, and it's almost farm to table. Most of it is farm to table, which we're part of a couple of French gastronomy memberships. So the dining, you will not go hungry. You may have to do a couple of digestive walks, like we call it, or maybe go to the gym if you need to. We do have our specialty restaurant, which is the chef's table. It's a 4 to 6 course pairing with wine. It's a beautiful experience. It's no charge, no additional charge. You just have to make a reservation on board. And guess what? Our groups get priority. So our groups have an opportunity to dine all together. And then the onboard entertainment, all of that is included. It could be a dance troupe that comes on board. It could be a piano player, opera singer. It could be cooking demonstration. Lots and lots of options coming on onboard entertainment. We just continue that destination throughout the journey. And then we have our all important sip and sail cocktail hour. That is also complimentary for AMA. It's a cocktail of the day. If you don't like that cocktail, you can really have anything you would like. I just got off of the Rhine River 4 weeks ago, and I can tell you my bill, my whole folio bill, was only $23. So we don't nickel and dime you when you get on board. It's all included. So that's a nice touch, right? It's not like an ocean cruise where you pay for Wi-Fi, you pay for water, and you pay for all these specialty dining. Everything is included. And then, of course, our cruise managers. Our cruise managers are quite popular. They actually host some of their own cruises. I don't know when they sleep. Think of the cruise managers, the maestro of the ship. And if you're doing any pre-extensions or post-extensions, land extensions, the cruise manager's with you the entire time. So it's a nice, nice way to start your trip or finish your trip. And of course, the cruise manager's with you every step of the way. We offer 2, 3, and 4 night land packages, and you'll see on the 2 trips that we're highlighting, they do have a pre and they do have a post land extension. So I hope you come early and stay with us, or late and do a post extension. Those land extensions are it's a package. Touring is included every day, and of course breakfast and a welcome reception, and of course any of the transfers from the hotel to the ship are also included. And talking about air services, we're really a one-stop shopping. So if you have a certain airline you would like to fly, we can certainly help Travel Central with that air from start to finish. Customize it as well. So let's get into these 2 trips. This happens to be one of my favorites, Flavors of Portugal and Spain. And Sue will be escorting this May 16th through the 23rd of 2026. It is a 7 night. You do have optional land extensions. You have a pre-cruise 3 nights in Lisbon, and you have 3 nights Madrid. So this cost, remember, it's touring, transfers, cruise manager, breakfast included, and daily touring. So it's a lovely, lovely extension to put on your trip. So Flavors of Portugal and Spain will do 3 nights pre-Lisbon, and there's so much to see and do in Lisbon. I absolutely love Lisbon. Also, the transfers to Porto, and then we do 7 nights from Porto to Barco d'Alvo. We do that extension in Salamanca, that full day, and then we do a post extension 3 nights in Madrid. Beautiful itinerary, very colorful, vibrant. Portugal is one of those destinations that it really sells itself. So I can tell you that 2026 will sell out. So if you want to put a deposit of $400 per person, and then finals not due till 90 days prior. So great payment options for you. So let's get into the Douro Valley. Very different, and I'm sure you've heard of port wine. Port wine is it's produced along the Douro Valley, the Panejo region. It's one of the finest regions in the world, and as you can see how steep it is. This is actually a picture right outside of Porto. And it's a little bit different than on the storied rivers of Europe. You really sail during the day because these are the views that you're going to have when you're scenic sailing. This is actually sunlight that's hitting the valley. And all of this are vineyards, very steep. They still harvest grapes by hand in baskets going up and down these stairs. They can't get machines to harvest the grapes because it's so steep. So it's a lovely way for your clients to just experience Portugal and the beauty of this region. You know, the vessel's a little bit different. It's only 102 passengers. So that's an incredible way to travel. And this, of course, is your twin balcony stateroom, average about 221 square feet. And of course, we do have fixed windows, a little bit less expensive. And I think Travel Central has all the pricing with the different room categories. So no worries there. Also, locks along the Douro are very different than the locks in Europe. One of these locks, there's two that are the deepest in Europe, and one of these is on along the stretch that we do from Porto, oh, excuse me, to Salamanca. And this is 250 meters. So it's quite a fet. There's a line normally going into the lock. So when you're hanging out and waiting for your turn to go through the lock, the beautiful scenery is at the top deck. That's where you need to be, where all of these guests are. It's a wonderful way to see the lock inside and out. And then, of course, Porto. Porto, this is what it looks like. These are all tiles. So if you think it's paint, it's not. These are all tiles. The Azujo tiles. Tiles in the 17 and 1600s were meant to keep the buildings cool inside, and they're lined inside and out, or the heat in. So they have a purpose. But this is beautiful Porto, which we'll come back to in just a bit. So moving along the river, we're going to go into Castello Rodrigo, and we're going to taste the local specialties. Almonds, there are almond trees there, and of course the wine specialty there as well. This is a beautiful hike up. So we can either take the bus up this hill, and this is actually one of my pictures because I absolutely loved, I took so many pictures, and I'm a fan of blue and white tiles. So there's plenty of blue and white everywhere. And then, of course, the little cathedral at the top of the hill. It was quaint. I actually went in and said a couple of prayers. It was just a beautiful day. The sun was bright, shining, but also the weather's going to be perfect at the time that Sue picked. So you'll get to see this. And then we go into Ragu, Portugal. This is an old home, estate home. The gardens are exquisite, very meticulously manicured, and the history there as well, right? And then we go up to Lamago, which is the Holy Staircase, and of course 686 steps. And supposedly you could say a rosary on each step. You can say a prayer, and you'll see pilgrimages because the Camino goes through Lamago as we go through. So these stairs are beautiful. Those that are in the gentle walker's pace will meet you at the top. Those that would like to walk up the stairs, you can certainly do that. But we do a wine tasting in this beautiful building at the top there. And then, of course, we get to Salamanca, Spain, and it's considered the Golden City. We have a lunch planned for you. It's a full day, and it's just incredible. We go to the university there, and in the city walls, incredible. The Plaza Mayor, which is the plaza, the main plaza, and of course, you walk through these halls, and the parliament, and then on one side, the university on the other side, and then of course shops and boutiques, and most of the government buildings are there. But it's a happening place right there, and there's a lot of shops nearby, cafes to have a coffee and just sit and people watch. That's always funny. But this is the little cathedral and the chapel in the university, and the university happens to be state university, so it's free for the locals to attend. We happened to be there at graduation, so it was the plaza was full of people bustling and hustling and bustling, and just the sounds and the sights. But this building is absolutely beautiful. The pews and this altar is incredible. Gold yield, of course, hand painted. It was incredible. It was incredible. And then we entertain you with a local flamenco show, the vibrant dance, and this we celebrate that local culture with a tuna band on board as well, with another flamenco show. We even have a saber master, a champagne saber master that will, pop the cork with a sword. So lots and lots of entertainment. But if you want to have great port, you will get it in Portugal. We go to some of the big houses, Graham, Sandman, and of course, when you're scenic sailing, you can see all of those vineyards as you approach. And of course, the popular Vino Verde. This is the white port, and of course, it's a grape, a certain grape. Everything has been harvested already, so they're getting ready for the fall season. And then this is pastel de natas. This is a custard little pastry. It's an authentic culinary experience. I made sure that I hit every one of these in every city I went to. I would taste. It's kind of like bread pudding, where in New Orleans they claim that they've got the best bread pudding. Well, I find that I've had the best bread pudding in Aspen before. So each bakery has its own take on this pastilla de nata. It's a cream custard in this light shell. So make sure if you're going to go into Portugal that you have the pastel de nata. It's almost hard not to have it. And we serve some on board as well. So that's the first trip. If you're interested in it, I know Sue is escorting it, and it's not until 2026. So you would put your $400 deposit down, and then final wouldn't be due till 90 days prior. So I hope you make that trip. Now, on to the second trip. Sue is actually, if you want something in 25, Sue has this trip as well, Captivating Rhine, and she's going May 29th through June 5th in 2025. Great time of year to go. I absolutely love. I just got back from the Rhine 4 weeks ago. It was right before harvest, and it was a fantastic time to be there. So, of course, you've got pricing here, and of course, everything that you see that we went over the first time is included. So let's go, and I hope you do an extension because it goes from Amsterdam to Basel, so you're going southbound. But I highly recommend you coming into Amsterdam a couple of nights early. Amsterdam has the culinary, it's a culinary's delight, but also the beautiful canals, as you see there. We will include a canal tour, but you have 246 art galleries and museums, so you definitely want to take advantage of that. You've got Van Gogh's museum, the Rijksmuseum. I had been to Amsterdam 9 times in and out, and had spent some time there, but I've not been to the Rijksmuseum. I spent all afternoon in the Rijksmuseum, and it was well worth it. All the Dutch masters, they even had the night watchman on display because it was being refurbished, and they put it in a glass room so you could see all the refurbishments going on at the time. So that's still going on, but Amsterdam has so much to offer. It really, really does. All the open air cafes, the open terraces. I love just sitting and people watching in Amsterdam along the canals, because this is the back part of the cafe where you can see the canals there. So much to see and do. And then I'm going to highlight some more parts of the Rhine. Dusseldorf. It's a brand new stop for us, and just a quaint little city. The square there have got great beer, so it's a nice addition. And you've got quite a few choices from Dusseldorf. Sometimes you have a hard choice because you can do a full day in Cologne. And I can't tell you which one to do because I've done all of them and I love them all equally. Or you can do a half day and then do a half day Dusseldorf. So lots and lots of options there. Cologne, here you see the majestic Cologne the Dome Cathedral. It was my very first cathedral when I started on river cruising 10 years ago. And it just brought me to tears. The beauty of it, 7 interfaith chapels. It started being built in 504, so there's a lot of history. And all along the cathedral here, they're still excavating new architecture, Roman architecture. They just found a palace floor. So they're still doing a lot of excavation around the cathedral as well. But great food. Make sure you stop at Peter's Beer House, Peter's Brauhaus, which is great Kolsch. Now remember, Kolsch is only produced in Cologne. So I'm a beer snob as well as a wine connoisseur. So I like both. And here you have my little Kolsch. I've not met a Kolsch I don't like. So make sure you have the local beer. And then we get to Strasbourg, and there's just nothing to talk about Strasbourg when you don't talk about the history, the old town of Strasbourg. It looks like a gingerbread city, like you think of a gingerbread decorated house. I mean, they produce their own gingerbread, which is incredible. There's a certain shop that I go to all the time, and the gingerbread is delectable. This time I got orange fig, and I picked up a pack of orange as well. The orange is just delectable. You can keep it on the countertop for 6 months. So there's no preservatives, and it's the way they produce it. So make sure you pick up some gingerbread for friends and family. But just meandering, you have a full day in Strasbourg. Take advantage, have some Alsace region wines, incredible wines, and just kind of meander. Around the city. You'll see the old town, you'll see the cathedral. So it's definitely well worth it to just meander and don't go back to the vessel. Have lunch in the city. Experience some maybe pate and some fantastic Alsace wines, Alsatian wines. And then we do a scenic sailing. This is going to be a full afternoon. We navigate the Rhine, this windy, turny Rhine with about 46 castles. So it's an incredible journey to see. It's one afternoon. Sometimes it goes through lunch. And I sat and just took probably too many pictures of the castles just with my iPhone sitting on the top deck. It was incredible. The cruise manager's narrating what castles you're seeing, the history of the castle. And then, of course, we're giving you wine and beer, and we give you a test. No, I'm just kidding. We won't give you a test. But it's an incredible journey, and that's the part of the scenic sailing. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so those 27 miles are protected, and all the quaint villages along the way as well. Heidelberg, here you have the Heidelberg Castle. This time I decided I had seen the castle 5 times, so I thought I'm going to do something different. I did the Philosopher's Hike, which was a pretty good, and there was only 4 of us, and it was a pretty good, it was straight up, but it was well worth seeing the views on top of the hill of the Rhine River, and of course the Neckar River, which is the tributary of the Rhine. You can't navigate the Neckar, but it's really incredible. And of course, there's a lot of history. It's the most intact castle, and we take you inside the castle. Of course, you don't have to walk. If you're doing the gentle walkers, we take you by bus to the Heidelberg Castle. Actually, all of our excursions start there as well. And plenty of time to get that great beer along the Rhine if you want to after your hike or after your castle visit. And then we visit Speyer. So Speyer has St. Stephen's Cathedral. It's a sister cathedral of the Passau St. Stephen's Cathedral, and it's where supposedly the apostles, some of their bones are buried and the relics are there. So it's an incredible walking city, easy walking. The gardens around Speyer are absolutely beautiful. So that's another beautiful city that you'll see as well. And then Rudesheim. So I always learned something new. I had been to Rudesheim 8 times, at least 8 times, 8 to 10 times. And I took the gondola up, and each one of these posts and rows can be a different owner. which was my new found thing that I found out this trip. The views of the Rhine are incredible from here as well. I did pick up because Riesling was produced in Rudesheim. It was the first city that produced Riesling wines. So I did buy a bottle of Riesling from the oldest winery there. And I noticed that all of these rows had a medallion and on each row can be owned by a different family. So can you imagine some of these wines that are produced are very exclusive because they were grown and this family produced this wine from one row. So it was interesting. That was the first time I had seen that. And it was just very, very interesting to me because I thought, okay, why would you only have one row of vines, right? And then, of course, you have some that have five and some that have six. So, and then at the top of the hill, you have the oldest winery that produces Riesling has the whole hectare. So it was incredible. So I always learned something new on my itineraries, even if I've been there before. So, our Landneck Castle visit, we do that as we'll do Rudesheim coffee visit as well. So remember the different paces. We don't, if you want to be a little bit slower pace, you can certainly join the gentle walkers, we call them. And then we head to Basel. And unfortunately, if you're only doing this and stopping, you did the pre, you can do the post as well. Now, Basel has the confluence. There's a part in Basel. It's about a mile triangle that has the confluence of Switzerland, France, and Germany. So there's a lot of history in Basel. It's a big pharmaceutical city, but the old part of Basel is beautiful, and that's where we dock. And then if you're extending, highly, highly, highly recommend an extending, doing a land extension. Maybe you save the return and just do the post extension. 2 nights Lucerne, 2 nights Zurich. Highly recommend. We even have one of the clogwheel trains that goes up the Eiger, which is the highest point in Switzerland. So there's a lot of options here. You have the chain bridge. I'm sorry, the oh no, not the chain bridge. I'm thinking about a Prague. But this bridge is old, 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 and it's just incredible. And you can see the Swiss Alps in the back. But Lucerne and Zurich, we do a Lake Lucerne visit, and of course Zurich, the hustle and bustle. Remember the cruise managers with you as well, as well. So I'm going to let Melinda come back on and talk a little bit about the resources that you have. Melinda?
I'm in, Lori. Sorry, have to hit those. Sorry, Lori, have to hit those right buttons when we get on there. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I think you did a great job, Lori. I'm ready to go back on another river cruise. I have done it. I love it. You unpack once and you sail, and you're on this small, elegant ship. It's like a floating hotel, is what I tell people. It is not really a cruise. I don't. You do have a theater. I mean, a room that has a lounge area where the shows go on. The food is incredible, but it really is a different experience altogether. So I highly recommend river cruising, and thank you. Travel Central here, like I said at the beginning, is here to be your resource to make sure that your vacation is makes your dreams come true. I mean, basically from the planning process, making sure not only do we do your river cruise, but your pre and your post, your air, your travel insurance, and any other thing that you would need for travel. We handle all of those types of things. So that's what Travel Central is here for. I don't see any questions in the chat box, so I
Oh,
do appreciate everyone joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed the River Cruise presentation. We did record the presentation. I will be posting to YouTube and emailing to everyone who joined us today. Thank you again, and now I'll have a great afternoon. Thanks, Lori. Enjoy your day.
thank you. Thank you.
Try.
Hope to see you on board soon.
Thank you. Bye bye
Bye
now.
bye.